Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well. I know it's been a while since my last reading, but I think I'm just having to reduce the frequency of these uploads, I think, and I've just decided to cut myself some slack on that. I'll just do the lunar readings and the occasional other reading, and it's because my body just keeps throwing up different health issues and I have to wonder if it's just going through some kind of delayed stress reaction because of how stressful the last few years have been. So I'm just going to have to let my body release it all, I'm thinking. And even though that's not fun, what can you do? And I guess my job is to give my body the right kind of support as it's going through this. And I'm also trying to do some fun things so that I can be also looking after myself emotionally as well. It's a weird process. I'm just definitely going to be leaning on my faith in spirit to help me get through all of it. In terms of this reading, I actually wrote it out a few days ago, so it's been a few days before I'm able to record it. Yeah, so that's it. This is another timeless reading. That's for someone out there. My intention is that it will find the person or people that it's meant for and at the right time. It's definitely not meant for everyone, so if the storyline that emerges is not resonating for you, it's probably not your reading. You can still watch the whole reading because it's always an intention of mine that anyone who's drawn to one of my readings will gain something from it, whether it's an insight or a piece of wisdom or just the opportunity to see something from a different perspective. So if you're here, I think you're meant to be here. All right, then we'll just do our love pause now and then get on with the reading. The love pause is where we send love out into the universe. So this might be about sending some healing, comforting energy to someone who you know is in need of it, or it might just be sending that energy out generally with the intention of it reaching someone who needs it. Alternatively, you can also do a Ho'oponopono prayer here by saying the 4 sentences, which are thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, and please forgive me. And thanks to everyone who does do this. So the time to pause is now, and the reading will start on the next slide. Okay, so this is the spread that we got for this reading. If you're interested in the decks that I've used, I will have them listed in the description box. So the card at the bottom of the deck is the King of Wands, which is a fire sign energy. Personally, I see it more as a Leo card. So this is someone who is a charismatic leader, someone who is inspired and inspiring as well, someone who's committed to something that they're passionate about, essentially. In the past position, we have the Magician, which relates to Mercury. So this energy is someone who manifests using their spiritual connection. So this card has the as above, so below message. So this is about someone who has a vision that they're making manifest into reality. Now, in addition to their strong spiritual connection, they're also seen as someone who's holding all the aces. And this represents their ability to initiate new beginnings in their life using all of the 4 earthly elements, air, fire, water and earth. So the fact that we've got these 2 cards already, the King of Wands and the Magician, I'm seeing that as a fairly potent combination because the King of Wands is passionate and committed to his vision, and the Magician has the ability to bring that vision to life. The card in the present position is the 7 of Wands, and this card is about defending what matters to you. So in this storyline, this would be the King of Wands defending his vision and his commitment to his vision. So this is coming through as one of those things where this King's vision might not make sense to other people, but he's basically making it clear to everyone that he's choosing it, and they will just have to accept it. And I feel like every one of the oracle cards that we've got here actually does relate to this energy. So the most obvious connection is the Awakening card, because the message on that reads, you are no longer letting other people dictate and run your life for you. Then we have the card that's titled the Miriam with the subheading Sacred Vision, and that makes me think that whatever this King of Wands is feeling so committed to, it is a sacred vision, something they are being spiritually guided to pursue. And the other oracle card here is Blame, and it has the affirmation, I accept responsibility for my well-being. Going back to that Miriam card, the message there reads, choose to forgive in order to heal. See the light in all. Remember that love has no boundaries. So these 2 messages from the Blame card and the Miriam card are strongly alluding to the kinds of interactions that this person has perhaps had in the past. The awakening card tells us that in the past, this person was perhaps letting other people dictate and run their lives, and, just being quite passive in their life. And the blame card is saying that perhaps they were actually blaming other people for the way their life was, even though they weren't really taking any initiative to make it better. So this awakening they've had has made them realize that they do have to take responsibility for their own life and make the decisions that are in their best interests. The message on the Miriam card is saying that as part of this process, they have to forgive the people that they have been blaming for all the things that happened in the past. So that's not to say that those people were doing the right thing, but this person is being asked to see the light in everyone. That's about acknowledging that even if those people have done hurtful things or manipulative or controlling things, they're not necessarily bad people. So perhaps in their hearts they felt like what they were directing this person to do was reasonable and would ultimately be the best thing for this person. And they may have been totally misguided, totally wrong in those beliefs, but it's not necessarily true that they've set out to ruin this person's life. So not necessarily intentional. It could have been well-meaning, but, as I said, maybe just misguided. So with this message of awakening here, I think this person woke up spiritually. They woke up to the truth of things. With this awakening, they realized that they were allowing themselves to be led by people. And I suspect the people they were allowing themselves to be led by weren't actually spiritually awakened at all. And so that's what's bringing us back to this Seven of Wands energy. This person is now making their own choices and defending their own choices. And it's quite likely that if they're dealing with these other unawakened people around them, their decisions aren't going to make sense to those people. So those other people might still try and assume the position of being this person's guide or advisor, or perhaps expecting that this person will take their advice. And well, basically the King of Wands here is saying, no, I don't want your advice anymore. I'm listening to my own guidance now. So thank you very much for your opinion, but it's not going to change what I'm going to be doing. And I suspect that will cause some feathers to be ruffled. But it is what it is. I think he's finally taken ownership of his life, looking at all of these cards here. Now, in terms of the other things that stood out in the Oracle cards, there were, in terms of colours, a lot of similar colours, yellows, oranges and reds, and those all relate to the lower chakras, so the solar plexus chakra, the sacral chakra and the root chakra. So these are all very much to do with the awareness of one's personal power, the ignition of their passion and their sense of security. So with all of those three chakras being highlighted, I do think of someone who's definitely found the courage to speak for themselves and to follow their own path. And I'm also seeing strong divine feminine energy in the Miriam card, because there are red roses and white lilies, which are both associated with Mother Mary. And roses and lilies actually show up together in a number of the traditional tarot cards, and I think they show up in the Magician card as well. So I believe the white lily in tarot is meant to represent purity and the red rose is meant to represent love, or they can be seen as representing the masculine and the feminine. So the Miriam here are shown as twins, so maybe that latter meaning of the masculine and feminine together is an important message here. So the last tarot card we've got is the Queen of Pentacles, and that is a feminine energy in contrast to the King of Wands. And in fact, she's kind of an energy that would be a counterbalance to the King of Wands energy. The Queen of Pentacles is very stable, grounded, practical and resourceful. So she's not the kind to get swept away in the passion of something. She's someone who calmly makes her way through life with a focus on the practical material aspects. And initially I was wondering if this was saying that the King of Wands was finding this kind of balance, and that I suppose could be true for some people. But because of that twin energy in that Miriam card and the representation of masculine and feminine with the lilies and roses, I'm feeling more like this is about the King of Wands meeting his counterpart. She is very different energetically, as I've pointed out, but I think if he needed someone on his side, she's great because her strengths are very different to his strengths. She would be a very calming, grounding influence and be the kind of person who could offer a lot of practical advice in terms of the real world challenges that might crop up. Now, this card is obviously earth sign energy, but I tend to read this one as a Capricorn energy. This particular Queen of Pentacles, in this image, she's got strong Empress vibes happening because there are a lot of symbols of fertility on this card. There's a rabbit in her lap, and then behind her, in front of her here, she's got these pear trees that are heavy with ripe pears. And that's interesting because this particular King of Wands is also starting to behave a bit more Emperor-like. So I'm actually wondering if these are two characters who are both basically on the cusp, on the verge of crossing over into Emperor, Empress energies. They are pretty much both almost there. So I guess I'm seeing this as a story about divine counterparts who are maybe meeting up just as they're about to reach their highest potential. I like that a lot as a reading, and I think we are at the end of this reading now, so I hope you enjoyed it as well. All right, here we are on our last slide. So as I mentioned before, the decks I use today are listed in the description box. Some of the decks will have Amazon links next to them. You can use these links to check the decks out, but I do need to let you know that these are affiliate links. So what that means is that if you click on the link and then you purchase the deck, I could earn a small commission for the deck purchase, provided it meets Amazon's criteria. The link should take you to the most appropriate Amazon site for your location, and from your perspective, the affiliate link has no impact because you will pay the Amazon price and you will still have access to any of the shipping deals that you would otherwise get. The link itself is actually only valid for 24 hours unless the item is added to your cart. So if you are thinking of using the links, you can just add the item to your cart and then take your time considering it. And then you can always remove it if you change your mind about buying the deck or if you find a better deal somewhere else. And for those people who do want to use the links I've provided, there is some extra information in the description box. So please go and check that out as well. I've also gone back through and updated all of my older videos, so even though it's not mentioned during the video, the deck list will be in the description box for those videos as well. Now, if you're still watching, thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel or liking the video or leaving a comment. And if you're already subscribed, thank you very much for your ongoing support. Lastly, I hope your seasonal preparations are going well. I feel like it's all going to end up being very last minute for us this year. We just seem to get caught up in other things all the time. But anyway, I'm sure we'll all get there. So take care, everyone. I hope to see you all in another reading. Bye.